New details into out front about the man who allegedly murdered Charlie Kirk. The suspect's name is Tyler James Robinson, and out front just spoke to a man who worked with the 22-year-old as recently as 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, the man you see on your screen was at work. The two were both doing electrical work at what our source, who did not want to be identified, describes as a big custom house in Santa Clara, Utah. He says Robinson was, quote, a little abnormal, didn't talk to anyone. He was a quiet dude, and he didn't like talking unless spoken to. He stays in the back, and I knew from word of mouth from coworkers that he was not fond of Trump or Charlie Kirk, obviously. Now, you know, when you think about this, right, he's working on this job site 2 weeks ago. Robinson was a 4.0 student, honor roll kid. He'd received a prestigious scholarship to college. He had no criminal record. He is registered to vote, but not affiliated with a party. His parents are both registered Republicans. Right now, though, he is being held without bail on several charges, including aggravated murder. They say assassinating Charlie Kirk as a sniper. These are live pictures we're showing you right now of a Utah County jail. That is where Robinson is as we speak. Now, according to sources, he is not cooperating. He is not speaking to investigators. He was arrested overnight, though, more than 250 miles away from Utah Valley University, where Kirk was shot as he spoke to a crowd of students. We do have some new video of a person matching Robinson's description walking near Utah Valley University just moments before the shooting. So again, appears to be new video of the suspect just before the shooting. What later ensued was a massive manhunt, more than 33 hours, that ended only after Robinson's family turned him in. A source tells us that Robinson's father recognized his son after seeing these images. And it wasn't images you could look at and realize if that was somebody you knew well or that was your child, you would recognize them. Well, his parents did. And when confronted by his father, Robinson confessed, according to another source. But according to our John Miller's reporting, Robinson did not want to surrender. And he told his father, according to John's reporting, quote, I would rather kill myself than turn myself in. Now, police say that one of Robinson's family members eventually reached out to a family friend, contacted the sheriff's office. And according to court documents, Robinson's behavior leading up to the shooting had changed. They say, and I quote, investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. And Utah's governor says the casings found with the rifle that's believed to have been used in the assassination included inscriptions like the words, hey, fascist, catch. Now, in a moment, I'm going to speak to Utah's Attorney General Derek Brown about the evidence and the investigation. First, though, I want to go to Ed Lavandera because he's outside that jail I just briefly showed you in Spanish Fork, Utah, where we understand Robinson is, right behind you tonight. Ed, and what is the latest that you're learning?
Well, he is here being held without bond. Two sources tell CNN that he did speak with investigators briefly when he was first taken into custody, but now we understand he is no longer speaking with investigators. And this, as investigators are now focused on trying to piece together the motive for what might have inspired this deadly attack.
We got him.
The information that led investigators to Tyler Robinson came just after authorities released new videos and enhanced photos of the suspect fleeing the shooting scene. The 22-year-old was arrested at his home at 10 p.m. Thursday night. Robinson is now in custody in the Utah County Jail, held on several charges, including aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, and obstruction of justice. He could face the death penalty. The manhunt lasted 33 hours and started right after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed with a single supersonic bullet. 12:23 p.m. Wednesday local time. Investigators say this video shows Robinson running along the rooftop of a Utah Valley University campus building, dropping to the ground and walking away. A rifle was found in a wooded area near the university with evidence that may point to the suspect's motive.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, hey, fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point.
The governor also revealed investigators have unreleased video they say shows Robinson arriving on campus in a Dodge Challenger.
He is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes.
Authorities say the suspect arrived on campus at 11:52 a.m. Less than 24 hours later, at 9:48 a.m. Thursday, the FBI released the first photos from surveillance video of a person of interest, showing a man in sunglasses and a dark blue cap wearing a t-shirt with an American flag. Later that night at 7:52 p.m., authorities released the video of the suspect running across a rooftop. Robinson, matching the descriptions in the video, was later located at his home in Washington County, Utah, at 10 p.m. Thursday, 260 miles from the scene, and taken into custody. According to Utah's governor, Robinson's father confronted him after seeing the video and the images and told his son to turn himself in. Robinson was then transported overnight and booked into jail just before 2 a.m. Friday morning, 12 miles from the scene of Kirk's shooting.
And Aaron, local prosecutors tell us that formal criminal charges will be filed on Tuesday, and that is when Tyler Robinson is expected to make his first court appearance, his initial appearance, but he will not be taken from this jail to the court. We are told that hearing will take place virtually. Aaron?
All right. I guess with all the frenzy that would surround that. Ed, thank you very much. And outside that jail, I want to go now to the Attorney General of Utah, Derek Brown, as promised. And Attorney General, I appreciate your time. As you see that, Ed standing in front of the jail where Tyler Robinson is right now and is going to be through that booking. Is this, Attorney General, an open and shut case?
Well, I think at this point, what we know is that we've got a suspect in custody. The next couple of days, we're going to be obtaining all the evidence we can. As you've already indicated, this is a process of getting evidence that we can use in the charging documents. So the charging documents will be filed. We'll have that appearance in a couple of days. And then our goal now is to identify everything that we can, get the kind of information that we can to, essentially assure that we have the right charges. We, at the county level, where your reporter is, we've had great work done, but we've also worked together with federal law enforcement as well. And so really this has been, I think, a model of cooperation from the highest levels of the Department of Justice all the way to the county level here in Utah.
It's also noteworthy that we heard more about the rifle. We talk about motive in a case like this, and obviously the governor said that in conversations that Robinson had with other people, he talked about why he did not like Charlie Kirk. And on the rifle, on a casing, on a bullet casing from the rifle that was used here, they found an inscription that read, "Hey, fascist, catch." So that gives you some indication about where law enforcement is going in terms of developing a motivation for this attack on Charlie Kirk here at Utah Valley University. Anna.
Brandy Sadrozny, you are looking into more on what could potentially be the meaning in some of what they've described on these bullet casings. What are you learning?
Well, we're learning that Tyler Robinson speaks in internet speak. And so it's hard to say when someone is speaking in internet speak whether they're being truly that's what they mean, or whether they're trolling, or whether they're sort of pretending to be something else. So all this with a grain of salt. But the bullet casings, one of the engravings was notices bulges, what's this? Again, that's an internet joke. It's a meme. It's about, gay, trans people. So that is probably what the Wall Street Journal reporting, saying that they had pro-trans messaging, was probably about. And then it said, "Hey, fascist, catch," and then it had some up-down arrows, and that is from a video game. It's for an attack that means like total destruction. There was another Bella Ciao, which is an anti-fascist anthem. And then if you read this, you are gay, LMAO, which, laughing my off. So again, it's hard to say what it means so far. They said, come to your own conclusions, and I think you kind of can. But for the moment, we just have to be very, very careful. So all that we know, again, Robinson, we haven't found any of his internet profiles. He was on Discord, which again, he's 20-something years old. This is a child of the internet. He's on the internet. He's clearly of the internet, but where he existed on the internet, we just don't know yet.
Mark, your thought on the details there involving the bullet casings, as well as the amount of details that the investigators, actually it was the governor who brought that specific information to us in this press conference, that the fact they've been revealed all of this publicly. I know in covering other crime cases that oftentimes investigators hold back information because they want to be able to question a suspect about information that only the person who committed the crime would know before putting it out there for the world to see.
I think it's very safe to say investigators have a lot of information. This is what they revealed. But Anna, no doubt, they held back a lot for this case because, as you said, when they sit down and have that conversation with Robinson, if it's not been had already, they want to hold some of the cards. They want to keep some surprises that they don't release to the public. They released a lot of information, but we don't know how much they've held back, especially as you were talking about Discord. And the investigators worked with friends and family. They seemed very willing to speak and to cooperate. They saw that several messages were shared there about a drop point, retrieving a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, wrapping it in a towel. There's a lot of information they gave us that they disseminated. But at this point, we don't know how much they're holding back on.
Yeah, Jillian, picking up on those Discord messages allegedly made by this person in custody about a drop site for the gun, potential digital markers that they may have and be looking into further that were little, I guess, breadcrumbs that this crime was going to happen. Maybe
The divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this woman. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
Donald Trump has been blindsided by what happened today, who was brought in today, and his own words. Republicans, the governor said it, and other Republicans were saying it. They came out and said it very literally. We are sad. We're disappointed he was a local kid, that he was from this state, that he was from this country. And what they were specifically saying is, we were hoping it wasn't going to be an American. And in Utah, which is a largely monochromatic state, it's not the whitest state in the country, but it's also by no means the most diverse state. The implication was, we really, really didn't want it to be a white boy from Utah. Like, that's what they were saying. And it is. And they don't want that because the whole narrative they were trying to build, because they were the ones playing politics. Wasn't the left, wasn't Democrats, wasn't progressives, wasn't socialists, wasn't moderates or independents. It was the right, broadly defined, that was trying to play politics here. They wanted to blame a trans person or a religious minority or a foreigner. You had Netanyahu, Hamas did it, right? You know, whatever, however they could plug it in. Turns out, while we don't know his exact motives yet, he seems to be a right-winger. And even if his ideology is incoherent, because he's not a member of any party, like, officially, he fits the demography of the right wing. There's a lot of Republicans in the House and Senate that look like this guy did when they were younger. Right? You go back to when they were in their early 20s, they didn't look that different from this guy. And so I think that's an important factor. It's also important to realize, guys, that Donald Trump and Republicans are saying that, oh, he must be a left-winger because he called Kirk on the bullet. He left messages saying that he was a fascist. But let's be clear. One, that's a reference. The way he said it is a reference to a popular video game played by lots of people, but it's not necessarily a coherent political message. But critically, Donald Trump has been calling his political enemies not just socialists and commies and all of that, but has for the last little bit been calling people on the other side of the political spectrum fascists, proving that it is not beyond MAGA to use that word against their political enemies. Donald, your own words are making it clear that it's at least possible he's one of yours.